that are solving Nigeria's problems that these individuals you refer to left unsolved. Even when they had the opportunity to do so, they didn't. They couldn't solve this problem.
If Kenneth, for example, said this is the worst president in history, you are saying if they have not been able to do it, you are implying that he's probably the best president in history. Is that what you're saying?
Shehu, let me say this, and I've said it, before. This president in 2 years has done what none of his predecessors had done in the same span of time to really reset Nigeria's economic foundations for growth and sustainable prosperity. No other president has done that in 2 years. You see, let me tell you, when his predecessors, all they did was simply take Band-Aid and put on an injury, never bothered to actually treat the root causes of those injuries. That's all they did. Kick the can down the road for the next president. This is the president who came along and said, you know what, listen, enough of these pretenses. I will not simply seek popularity over doing that which I swore to do, which is to tackle Nigeria's problems at its root.
Just a moment.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah. So I'm able to unsee you in the first day I met you. A lot of Nigerians may not even know that you're more or less like a pastor before now. And you were an advocate of the Nigerian people. You fought for the people of Makoko. You fought for the people who lived in Ashanti. So I'm unable to unsee you in that light, even as you're a partisan person right now. And in all honesty, Mr. Muoka, defend the decision of your party and your government with the examples of how lives of Nigerians have been better. Can you?
But I just did. I just told you.
In practical terms. We're talking as intellectual. But a lot of the millions of people who are watching now will say, yes, these are more of rhetoric, but in practical terms. And I'm very sure that on your mobile phones, as a politician, you won't have less than 10, 15 people that you service and transfer money to every month, isn't it? Are the lives of the Nigerian people better now than you met it? In practical terms, are they able to buy food cheaper? Are they able to transport in a cheaper way, an easier way? Now, in what practical terms? Can you give us 3 practical terms that in average Nigerian people's life is better now than your government met it?
Shehu, you talked about, we're talking intellectually. I think the foundation of your question, also has a certain level of, I think, almost, intentional bias to it. Your question is framed to produce a reaction that I think is, almost inappropriate for the conversation we're having. Because, you should background your question with the state of affairs of our country, even, way before the last 2 years. And, take it in the context of the challenges that you and I know this country was faced with. That we were simply, sitting on the brink, on the precipice of economic collapse. This country was, almost insolvent, was unable to even pay its own bills. Nigeria was borrowing to do basic things that a country should do.
Golf. Recommended by...
almost like the immediate past context in which that question is situated. I think that's actually an unfair question to ask. But I will answer you, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's your job to defend. My job is to ask the question.
No, you ask the question.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
But you also have a responsibility to ask the question in a way that I think takes into cognizance
I heard you.
The parameters.
But you feel uncomfortable with the way I asked the question, but I don't think there's anything wrong in the question.
Listen, I am not uncomfortable.
And I'm saying that, and I'm giving you the opportunity, free of charge. You are not paying for it. Your party is not paying for it.
Hang on. You invited me. I didn't ask to come here.
Yeah.
Okay, so, so it's mutual.
Go ahead.
You asked me to come. You should be thankful that I came, right?
No, you invited me. Your party should pay to...
No, you invited me. But
listen. Please go ahead. Yeah. Free of charge. Go ahead.
Listen, this president met an economy that was, in dire straits. An economy that has been in dire straits for decades. Let me say that in addition. This economy has been in dire straits for a long time. Not even in the last, 8 years or 10 years. Under Jonathan, under, President Obasanjo, the economy still was in dire straits because the fundamentals were off. And, for an economy to actually, evolve to meet the needs of its people, the fundamentals must be good. The foundation of a house must be strong. You can have a fancy finishing, but if the foundation of your house is actually not, well done, you have a problem. And that's what, all of the presidents before this, president simply left untouched, didn't bother to fix the problem where it needed to be fixed.
So Tinubu is a savior.
Tinubu, you may call him a savior.
I'm asking if he is.
Tinubu is an effective president. And he's a president who has come in, recognizing the problems, and decided, I'm not going to pander to please anyone. I am going to simply solve the problem so that tomorrow will be better for Nigeria. And already, yes, as he said when he announced those twin policies, the first subsidy removal and floating of the naira, he warned that it will be tough. Nobody said it was going to be easy, and it hasn't been easy. But there's also no country that has turned the corner, Shehu. No country that some of us travel to. People who
So things are going to get better? Is that what you're implying?
Things are getting better already. Now, when this thing happened, of course, we saw, a sharp, spike in, inflation and, food inflation, especially affecting a lot of people. That is beginning to, come down. Commodities and the prices are, turning down. We're seeing, macroeconomic indicators looking up. I see, when you talk about macroeconomic indicators, you can't have microeconomic, good when your macroeconomic indicators are wrong. So usually, macroeconomic indicators are pointers that things are looking up.
Right.
Because it takes, a while for then all of those things, the things we worry about, the food and...
Yeah, this is the way I would like us to answer.
That's how...
Because I'm being told that we're totally out of time. There is what has been described as insensitivity of endorsement by your party and is by the leadership of the party. Do you think it was sensitive for your party to be endorsing the president whom nobody has challenged within the party whether to get a ticket or not in 2027 in the faces of tough things, and those who believe that things are getting better? Why endorse it? Does it look like a sensitive action by your party? Quickly, because we're totally out of time.
Why is it not sensitive? I don't understand why anyone would suggest that it's insensitive. Why? We're a political party. So it's okay for the opposition to bandy around and, saturate the airwaves with talks of, coalition and, you just quoted Erufai, speaking like, a child, talking about sending someone to Lagos and all of that. And it's not okay for the ruling party to, invoke its own internal processes to either affirm, the president who we believe is doing a fantastic job trying to bail this country out of crisis. Look, these are all political, statements. We are doing exactly what we were set up to do as a party. We have not breached any code. Otherwise, INEC would be on our case.
All right.
We have not breached any code. We're not campaigning. We're simply, passing a vote of confidence. When we talk about, endorsement, it's simply a vote of confidence on the president.
All right.
And we're very, very, committed, I think, to, transforming the very basis.
My good friend, Felix Muoka. Thank you so much. A former activist.
Still an activist. Always will be.
I told you, I've not been able to unsee you from that eyes.
Always will
and there is a locus classicals about some of the environmental laws in Nigeria from the Supreme Court in that direction.
Yes.
But now you're a politician. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you
for your time tonight. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Man, thanks for watching. I'm sure.